everybody, and welcome back to The Sims 4. Today we're going to be building a smaller than small home for my Sim Nia and her little son Kevin. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and change the lot type to a tiny home residential. The last Sims video, I built a tier 3 small home with 100 tiles. Today, I would like to try to do a tier 2 tiny home with a maximum of 64 tiles. And I thought that it would be fun to go ahead and add a toddler into this household because I thought that it might give myself a little bit more of a challenge. I'm excited to see what I come up with, so let's go ahead and get started. As always, we have to start with a shell. So I'm just, creating a couple of boxes, trying to figure out how I can fit the 64 tiles exactly. And what you didn't see is that I originally built a different shape, but didn't really like how it looked, so I completely bulldozed the entire lot and actually started again. So this is technically my second attempt at this build. And here I am just playing with the looks of the outside. I never really use brick on my homes, but I kind of really liked the way that one looked. And so I thought I'd try to go ahead and use it. One thing that you will probably begin to notice fairly quickly is that the snowy escape windows are my absolute favorite windows. I use them in almost every build. I just think that they are so pretty and so crisp and clean. I just think that they look really good on pretty much every house. I also added that little bee window just because I thought it was really, really cute. This confused me. I was like, wait a minute, why does a fence count as tiles? So I was trying to figure out how I could kind of go around the system. And I figured out that if I just left a little opening in that fencing, that it wouldn't count towards my tile count. So I kind of worked my way around that because I thought, if you're going to have a small house, you might as well have a good sized yard to use, right? Also, don't mind all the trees kind of looking dead. It's winter in my game right now, so everything is just kind of icky looking. But in the springtime, I'm sure it's beautiful. So now I'm just kind of working on some landscaping for this house. Landscaping is something that I am working on. It's something I don't do very often, and I'm not really sure why. I think I'm just kind of a little intimidated by landscaping, but you're never going to get better if you don't try. So if you have any good tips on landscaping, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I really would love to be better at landscaping. It's a work in progress, but I really liked adding all of these little rocks to the edges of the pathways like that. I thought that looked pretty cute. Honestly, after using these rocks, I think that the game could use more rock variations because why not? They make such cute little accent pieces and you can utilize them anywhere really. But I like the rocks. So I think, am I about to move to the inside? I am. Great. Okay. So I really, really struggled with the floor plan in this house with the size and the shape. It's just so small. And I was like, how am I going to fit a living room, a kitchen, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom that is big enough to put a tub? Because keep in mind, there is a toddler in this house, and so we have to have a bathtub so that the toddler isn't stinky all the time. I mean, if you want them to be stinky the whole time that they're a toddler, you can. I mean, they won't get taken away for having a dirty diaper, but I also don't want my Sims complaining about being around a stinky toddler all the time. So I do tend to like to have baths in the house if I have a toddler there. It makes more sense, right? So I had a hard time with this floor plan, just trying to utilize the space in the best way possible in this tiny home for this little family here. I always have to light up the space so I can see what I'm working with. Does anybody else put lights in the house like the first thing? Or is it just me? I fill it all with lights, as bright as I can. Now I'm just playing around with like the kitchen placement. I thought that in that little nook right there, it would be a good little place. And then now I'm gonna start with the bathroom. And here is kind of where I start to realize that, again, I need to change the floor plan a little bit because space was not quite what I needed. I made the bathroom a little bit bigger. Going into building this house, I really didn't have like a theme in mind for this family, so I kind of just went with whatever my heart felt. So I made sure to add, a cute little robe in there, some bath products. I tried to make it look a little more lived in this time. And then for the walls, I thought this looked real slick, and it looked so slick. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the kitchen the same way. I really like that combination. I know it's a little dark, especially for how Nia, she wears bright colors, but I just think that the bathroom looks really slick like that. So I kept it that way. I was playing around with little Kevin's room. I thought having a fun little wallpaper for him would be fitting. I mean, he is a toddler after all, and toddlers love fun things. So now I'm just making sure he's got enough stuff in his room where he can play and grow and learn with his mom. I think that decorating toddlers' rooms can be really, really fun because there's no rules to a toddler room. You can just kind of do whatever you want with them. Nothing has to match, nothing has to coordinate. You can kind of just go with the flow. Like if you see an item, you like it, you're like, I'm gonna throw it in that little toddler's room because they're gonna love it no matter what is in it. Toddlers are just excited about things, and I love that. So now I'm trying to find little curtains to go. And sometimes curtains are easy to find in this game, and then other times I really struggle because there are a lot of curtains that will clip into items that go against the wall, and like the clipping, it does bother me. But sometimes I just see past the clipping. But in this case, as you can tell, I went with the really short curtains because the clipping was bugging me in this case, but it's fine. I think that it looks cute and it allows the sunlight to come in, Anyway, moving on to the kitchen. So I started off with this light wood color to kind of tie back into the wood flooring that's in the rest of the house. And you'll see that I change it later. Now here's where I was having trouble. I really, really liked that big picture window right in front of the sink. I thought it looked so good. But as you can tell with the spacing of the cabinetry, it really wasn't working out because the windows and the cabinets overlapped. And so I was like, man, I've got to find a different window. So then I'm over here like, I don't know what kind of window to find. And eventually I settled on this one, because it fit a little bit better. And then here's where I was like, you know what? I don't even like this color. And I went with a black kitchen, which is not something I typically do. I like to have colorful kitchens for whatever reason, but I really like, again, this black just looks really slick. I like the darker color in this home. And then I decided to throw some pops of purple to kind of liven up the space a little bit and just add a little something. And that little pot item there is quickly becoming one of my favorite items. It's just such a cute little item to add into a kitchen. Added the finishing rug, and now we're going to be moving on to the little tiny living room area. I decided to carry over the purple from the kitchen to just kind of make that cohesion happen in the house. I'm working with a really tiny living space here. Get it, tiny living, which is the pack that this house size came from. Sorry, that was kind of a lame joke. Anyways, I love this item, the TV and speaker combo. It's just such a great item for entertainment for The Sims, and it really doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and it looks cute. Oh, I decided to put little pillow cushions there for Kevin so that he can come and sit down on the little pillows while his mom watches TV or reads him a book or something in the little living room. And I felt like I could add something in this space, so I found this bookshelf. I like how skinny the bookshelf is, like it's not super bulky, and it fits in that space perfectly. And then I was just trying to find some items that fit on the bookshelf. Sometimes slotting on the bookshelves can be a little tricky, but I was able to find some items that I thought looked pretty good there. Now, as I'm finding items, I am seeing other places where these items could go. So that's why I went back to the living room there for a second. And here I am trying to find more items for this bookshelf, and I think eventually I kind of gave up on it. I was like, you know what, I'm done with the bookshelf. We're moving on. So we're moving on to Nia's room. As I said, I didn't really have a theme going into this build, but her room ends up kind of giving me like boho vibes, which I think ends up really, really cute, and I really end up liking it. Again, I kind of went with like a more purpley pink color scheme, which I've been kind of tending to lean towards those color schemes lately. They just make me happy to look at, I guess. No harm in having a little bit of pink and purples in your house, you know? I added the little parenthood board there because in my mind, Nia is very family oriented and she really, really cares about Kevin a lot. So I think that, you know, as he gets older, she's going to really utilize that board and leave him little notes and make sure he's got a curfew when he's a teenager. And I think she's going to be like a strict but loving parent to him, especially when he gets older. Working on the backyard living space now, I really wanted to use this space for fun and for activities and skill building items for both Nia and Kevin. They'll both be able to use these items and gain the skills and spend time together and just enjoy being outside and, you know, not in their tiny houses. However, living in a tiny house definitely does have its perks in The Sims. And by perks, I quite literally mean there are perks to living in a tiny home. You get like double skill gain, you get increased relationships. It's really actually super beneficial to live in a tiny home. I think you also get like decreased bills and everything too. There are definitely perks to living in a tiny home, but I also felt like an outdoor space for this family was essential. And so you can see me here just kind of adding the little finishing touches into the backyard, like pathing and place for the little basketball court. And we're done. And that is the finished build. So here is the outside of the house. Now let's go inside. So first we'll start here. This is the little living room. It's just a small little living area, but it has everything you need. Couch, little toddler chair, and the TV and stereo combination, which is an amazing item in the game. And moving on over, just a little bookshelf here and into the little kitchen area here. Simple and sweet. It does everything you need it to do. And then we move into little Kevin's room here. It's got enough space for all of his little toys, his potty, his reading, and he's of course got a little nightlight to keep those monsters away. And here is the bathroom, which we have to have a tub with a toddler. So kept it pretty simple in there. And then of course we move on to Nia's room, which is a little bit fun of a room. Bare necessities, everything she needs. And then I guess just a quick peek about the outside. You know, basketball, so Kevin can play some basketball when he gets older, some toddler things that he can play with. A fun little place to eat, monkey bars, stargazing, bicycle, and that's pretty much the entire house right there. I actually really enjoyed this build. I don't really build small houses too often, so I had quite fun with this one. And I really tried to focus on adding some, you know, extra decorative items and things like that, just to give the house a little more character. So let me know your thoughts on this house, and if you liked this video, go ahead and leave a like. Also subscribe if you enjoy the content that you're seeing, and press that notification bell so that you can get notified anytime that I upload something new. And thank you guys for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.